Hello, I'm Barry Edelstein, Erna, Finci, Viterbi, Artistic Director of the Old Globe, coming to you from the Old Globe's world headquarters in exile, also known as my dining room, where every year I celebrate William Shakespeare's birthday, my friend and colleague, this writer whose work I love so much. And then I head over to the Old Globe for Happy Birthday, Mr. Shakespeare, where I get to celebrate with all of you. And so virtually, here I am to talk about Shakespeare, to talk about birthdays, and to say hi to everybody. So, hi. Now, Shakespeare has a lot to say about a lot of things. Talks about life, talks about death, talks about love, talks about loss, talks about time, talks about the world, talks about history, talks about leadership. He doesn't have a whole lot to say about birthdays. If you go to a list of every word that's in Shakespeare, there are these big books, it's called a concordance, where it lists every single word that's in Shakespeare, tells you where it appears, hundreds of thousands of words. And you look up the word birth, you'll find that it's in Shakespeare 102 times. Now, the man wrote 36 plays. Each play has something like 3,000 lines. Each line has, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 words. Million words in Shakespeare. But the word birth, 102. The word day, about 1,000. About 1,000, but that's like, what day is it? And, what do we think about today? And so on. So birth, 102, day, 1,000. The word birthday in Shakespeare, 2 times. That's it. Only 2 occurrences of the word birthday in Shakespeare. I don't know, maybe he was shy. Here's one. This is from a play called Julius Caesar. This is my birthday, as this very day was Cassius born. Well, that's not exactly to be or not to be. That is the question, It's not exactly what is this quintessence of dust. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players, but soft what light through yonder window breaks. None of that. This is my birthday, as this very day was Cassius born. That's birthday number 1. Here's birthday number 2. It is my birthday. It is my birthday? That doesn't sound like Shakespeare. That sounds like, me on March 11th. It is my birthday. That's the interesting thing about Shakespeare. Not everything about him is blah, 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 thou wilt, thou dost. Some of it's just pretty straightforward English, like it is my birthday. But still, without the word birthday in the canon, what are we going to do today? Well, there's a line that I always use when a friend of mine hits another click in the mileage of life. And I say, okay, Shakespeare didn't use the word birthday, but here's something interesting that Shakespeare can talk about. This is from one of his sonnets. Here's what you say to Shakespeare or anybody else on their birthday. To me, fair friend, you never can be old, for as you were when first your eye I eyed, such seems your beauty still. So that's what you say to somebody on your birthday. You're not getting old. You look exactly the same as you did the first time I saw you, when first your eye I eyed. There's some clever Shakespeare, right? Your eye I eyed. To me, fair friend, you never can be old. For as you were when first your eye I eyed, such seems your beauty still. So happy birthday, William. With a few lines of your very own. You didn't give us much to go with on birthdays, but you did give us that. You gave us another really good line, one of my total favorite Shakespeare lines. Much virtue in if. My favorite, so great, especially if you're doing any kind of work that's imaginative. Much virtue in if. It's a good thing to say the word if. Wouldn't it be great if we could land a man on the moon? Hey, that's the beginning of the process of getting Apollo 11 there. Wouldn't it be great if we could have more love and peace in the world? Wouldn't it be great if people treated each other with kindness? Shakespeare's saying that's a good thing. Ask if. Ask if there's a better way to do things. Ask if there's some other possibility. Now, The thing about that line comes from a play called As You Like It, and it's spoken by a clown, a fool, and not much of what he says makes a whole lot of sense. So one of the hazards of quoting lines of Shakespeare is that sometimes you take them out of context. And here on Shakespeare's birthday, I want to bring you to a quote from Hamlet, because we're looking forward to Hamlet on the radio, and I'm going to pull it out of context too. It's a big speech about death, and I'm sorry here on a beautiful morning to do that, but we can pull Shakespeare out of context and make it do things other than what Shakespeare meant. And to get to Hamlet, let me show you an example of exactly what I mean. And to do that, we're going to go there to Omaha, Nebraska, right in the middle of our great country. Barry, this is a program about William Shakespeare. What are we doing in Omaha, Nebraska? Well, bear with me. In Omaha, there it is, gorgeous place, got a river, blue sky, got to go there one day. Looks like an awfully nice city. They just had an election for a new mayor last week, Omaha. I don't know why in April, but they have their own way of doing things there. And I just happened to, I have this Google alert for quoting Shakespeare. Anytime anybody quotes Shakespeare, I get a little Google alert because I love to collect the different ways in which people talk about Shakespeare in their lives. And so 2 weeks ago, up in my inbox appears Omaha, Nebraska in the context of quoting Shakespeare. And I said, I got to check this out. So that guy, his name is Mark Gudgel. He's running for mayor of Omaha, Nebraska. And here's what the local TV station said on April 5th, 2021, just 2.5 weeks ago. Gudgel said that he's candid and often uses a quote from Shakespeare that he teaches to his students that he says best describes himself. So guy's running for mayor, and he's trying to talk about why you should vote for him. And he says, Shakespeare's got a great quote for me to use to describe it. He says, quote, one that comes from Othello that I think describes me really well is that I wear my heart on my sleeve. You don't ever wonder where I stand on something. I'm open and honest about it. Gudgel said, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Indeed, that comes from the play Othello, except it's spoken by that guy on the right, Iago. I mean, just check out the mustache on that guy, the sneer on his face. The single most evil character in all of Shakespeare. And this dude is quoting him to try and get people to vote for him to be the mayor of Omaha. There's the quote. In following him, I follow but myself. That's Iago talking about Othello, his general. In following him, I follow but myself. Heaven is my judge, not I for love and duty, but seeming so for my peculiar end. For when my outward action doth demonstrate the native act and figure of my heart in compliment extern, 'tis not long after, but I will wear my heart upon my sleeve for daws to peck at. I am not what I am. So Iago is saying, I keep to myself, and my outward behavior is very different from what I privately think. And if it ever happens that my outward behavior matches what I inwardly think, well, then I'm going to take my insides, my heart, and I'm going to put it on my sleeve for a daw to come and eat. I am not what I am. So Iago's saying that wearing your heart on your sleeve is a terrible thing to do because it shows the world what you truly think, which is what you should not do. You should hide yourself if you're going to be an evil guy like me. And there's poor Mark Gudgel running for mayor of Omaha, quoting Iago, and finding out that really what Shakespeare says means the exact opposite of what he thought. So here comes my quote from Hamlet, and by the way, Mr. Gudgel did not win the race. He's back teaching high school. I really wonder if he's teaching Othello. I don't know. But I don't want to make the same mistake that he did. And so I freely confess, this is a quote that's about dying and about the right time to die. But I'm going to pull it out because it's actually a fantastic quote for where we are in the world right now as the pandemic, thank goodness, finally, at long last, is winding down. And this is Hamlet in honor of the Old Globe's Hamlet on the Radio for Shakespeare's birthday. Hamlet says, if it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all. So he's talking about his death, but I'm talking about the end of the pandemic. If it be not now, if the pandemic doesn't end now, 'tis not to come. I'm sorry, if it be now, 'tis not to come. If the pandemic ends today, then it's not going to end in the future because it will have ended today. If it be not to come, if it's not going to end in the future, it will be now. If it be not to come, it will be now. And if it be not now, yet it will come. If the pandemic doesn't end now, it's going to end eventually. So if it ends now, then it's done. If it's not going to end in the future, then it's going to end now. And if it doesn't end now, it's going to end one day. And here's the key. The readiness is all. What matters is we be ready. We are ready. Getting the globe coming back to life. Putting Hamlet out on the radio. Celebrating the birthday of William Shakespeare just like we do in normal times. We are ready for the world to start spinning forward again. Because as Hamlet himself tells us, the readiness is all. So I leave you with that. The readiness is all. Get ready, folks, because it's coming. Meanwhile, happy birthday, dear William. Happy birthday to you. Thank you, everyone.